I'm Mitch Seekins, the vocal coach. Welcome to part 2 of my interview with Ian Thornley from Big Wreck. This is an additional segment to the main interview that I did with Ian Thornley, which is posted here. In this segment, we talk about microphones in the studio and live. If you enjoyed this and perhaps learned something, please hit that subscribe button. I got more stuff to come. This is something for the tech guys out there. Do you have a preference on microphones when you tour or in the studio?
Yeah, I mean, in the studio we use all kinds of different things, but generally, that Elam one that Nick Raskulenix had was great. But certain mics will sound great on your voice, and certain ones won't.
Right. Yeah, of course.
And I've blown up some mics in my day, but even mics that were like famous mics that other famous singers had used, they're like, this is so and so's mic. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. They put it in front of me, and it makes it to like about halfway through the song. And I'm not a particularly loud singer. I mean, it's probably louder than somebody who's singing, standards, but. Like there's Chad, for instance, is probably the loudest singer I've ever heard.
Wow.
It's twice as loud as me, and I'm pretty loud. But generally speaking, it's we tend to lean towards 87s, like a U87, a Neumann, and for a long time it was U47s, like the big sort of Frank Sinatra sound. Yeah. But I think it's a bit warm and tubby, the 47, for one voice. Like those were designed to record an entire room, like a band or an orchestra or whatever. Right. But it is a very detailed. It's great. But 87s just have this little rip on top that I tend to like, and it helps cut. Yeah. I think that's what our first record was done on, and it's something that just kind of gone back to. Yeah. And even SM7, I got SM7s here. Like those are great for demoing, because they do a similar, live. It's not just a 58, but the Beta 58, which again has this little bump in the upper mid, which helps me with my in-ears and helps me get pitch, and it cuts through the mix.
It's just there's nice clarity on the top. Because I used the 58 for years, and then they came out with the Beta 58, and it's like, it's still a warhorse.
Yeah. It's been through. Yeah. And they don't go down.
Exactly.
We've had some great mics over the years. And some of them are like, some of the really hi-fi ones I find don't work the same for me. They don't, especially for, a loud rock band. You go back to what works. Yeah. And a 58, or certain, in my case, the Beta 58 is that's the money.
Yeah, exactly. Much less
going back to that. Yeah. I love trying all this different stuff, because so and so uses blah blah blah, and they're amazing. So it's got to be great. It's like, you give me a 1959 Sunburst Les Paul, I'm not going to sound like Jimmy Page. It's just not going to happen. I just kind of go with what works.
Yeah, exactly.
And a Beta 58 is great, and 87s in the studio. I mean, they're not cheap, but they're not terribly expensive.
Yeah.
They're not like U47s are like 15, 17 grand. Elams are ridiculous. Yeah. But you can't go wrong with an 87.
Cool. Good. Thanks for doing this, man.
All right, Mitch.
I really appreciate it. That's awesome.